I am finally back from a long needed vacation and Gamescom doing coverage for IGN. Thank you so much for joining me. One of the things that I needed to do is get everybody caught up on what happened with the Microsoft Activision deal and where things currently sit with the CMA and just go over some basic Xbox news. So thank you for being patient. Let's get back to some videos. Okay, so first things first, we need to talk about this Ubisoft cloud gaming deal. GamesIndustry.biz has a pretty succinct wrap up, but we're going to talk about industry reactions and some of those initial things that happened on that day. So the new Microsoft Activision deal under UK investigation is cloud gaming rights sold to Ubisoft. So what happened was the CMA, as you know, had an issue with the cloud gaming portion, which is bizarre to everybody who says it out loud. So what Microsoft did was they sold the rights to cloud streaming to Ubisoft. So if Microsoft wants to stream something on their systems, they have to license it through Ubisoft. Let's read what this article says. So basically, the deal is being restructured. That original deal is now out and a new one is in front of the CMA. Here are the important bits. Ubisoft will be able to commercialize and license the cloud gaming versions of any of these titles, adding them to any other cloud gaming service around the world, including ones operating on non-Windows operating systems. Microsoft will take a one-off payment from Ubisoft for these rights, as well as further compensation through a market-based wholesale pricing mechanism, including an option that supports pricing based on usage. That seems like a big win for Microsoft. We learned during the trial, the Activision trial with the FTC and Microsoft, where the FTC was trying to block the deal, that they actually take a loss every time somebody boots up one of those games in the cloud. So this might be actually kind of a win for Microsoft where they end up coming out ahead. I mean, maybe I'm off on my math there, but that actually sounds kind of good for them. In a blog post, Microsoft President Brad Smith said under the restructured transaction, Microsoft will not be in a position either to release Activision Blizzard games exclusively on its own cloud streaming service, Xbox Cloud Gaming, or to exclusively control the licensing terms of Activision Blizzard games for rival services. So if PlayStation wants to stream those games on the cloud via PlayStation Plus or whatever they choose to do, they can do that. They license it through Ubisoft. Microsoft would have to do the same thing. Ubisoft makes that decision about how they want to do it. Smith added that the agreement with Ubisoft has been structured so that after the acquisition is complete, Microsoft will still acquire the rights needed to honor its legal obligations to the European Commission, which approved the deal earlier this year. So anywhere that's already approved the deal, there doesn't seem to be any issue there. With the cloud gaming rights excluded from the deal, both Microsoft and the CMA agreed that this is now a substantially different transaction. As such, the CMA has started a new phase 1 investigation with a statutory deadline. I'm having trouble with that word. I'm a little sick from the trip, but not too bad. Deadline of October 18, 2023, the same day to which Microsoft's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard was extended last month. So, man, that is so I have this post from, I'm just going to jump over here really quick. The CAT Tribunal has rescheduled the original hearing for the original order for 5 days in late October. The hearing will commence on October 23rd, 2023. The applicant and intervener shall file and serve their skeleton arguments for the argument on 9th of October 2023. The respondent shall file and serve its skeleton argument by the 16th of October, and the party shall have 5 hard copies of an electronic version for use at substantive hearing on the October 18th. And then somebody commented that they're really pushing it close. Microsoft and Activision Blizzard have jointly agreed to extend their merger agreement deadline from July 18, 2023 to October 18, 2023 to allow for additional time to resolve remaining regulatory concerns. They wrote in a press release about the merger agreement extension. So basically, they're going to be right on the line of that deadline, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And I don't know I'm not really sure what that means for the finality of the deal. And we're reading here that the deadline of October 18, 2023, that is the same day Microsoft proposed. I don't know why did the CMA cut it that close? It's just like they just want to like make it more dramatic or something. The CMA has been incredibly, like, just coverage wise, it's been so annoying to see how the CMA does things and how long they've stretched this. They've stretched it out longer than anybody else. The FTC already took this to trial. Like, say what you will about how the FTC handled things. They went right away. They took the trial, and then that was it, right? It's done. So we know it's done in the US, and now we still got to wait for this CMA thing to finish, and everybody else is basically done. So, yeah. This is not a green light, the regulator's chief executive, Sarah Cardell, said in a statement. We will carefully and objectively assess the details of the restructured deal and its impact on competition, including in light of third-party comments. Our goal has not changed. Any future decision on this new deal will ensure that the growing cloud gaming market continues to benefit from open and effective competition, driving innovation and choice. So markets in the United States close obviously at a later time than the markets in the UK. So the UK, they're like, well, I just came back from Germany. Germany is what, 9 hours ahead right now. So when I came back, it was like the day that I left when I got back. It was super confusing and it's a little disorienting. But long story short, you kind of have that whole day. So whatever's going to happen in the UK is going to happen in the UK. And I imagine that the deal will be finalized at that point, as should your subscription be finalized. When you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell if you've watched this far, and hit that like button if you already subscribed to help the channel out. But they should have time to figure out whatever they're going to figure out. If Activision is going to drop out at that point, they'll drop out or they'll restructure the deal again. Now let's look at all the reactions to this news, right? Ubisoft said the Ubisoft Plus lineup is expanding. We're excited to announce a new agreement that will bring Activision Blizzard games to Ubisoft Plus via streaming upon the completion of Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. We'll also be licensing the games to a wide range of cloud streaming and subscription services. You can learn more at the link. Lulu Cheng Maservi, we all know Lulu. Here's what she said. The next step in the UK for Activision Blizzard's deal with Microsoft. Our CEO just sent this email to all employees. So this is from Bobby Kotick. I want to share an update on our merger with Microsoft. To address the UK CMA's concerns regarding cloud streaming, Microsoft announced it filed a new merger application in the UK that includes a divestiture for cloud streaming rights at closing with respect to current and new PC and console games. We welcome Microsoft's decision to enter into this agreement and submit a new application to the CMA, which Microsoft believes will address the CMA's concerns. For us, nothing substantially changes with the addition of this divestiture, our merger agreement with Microsoft closing deadline, and the cash consideration to be paid for each Activision Blizzard share at closing remain the same. We will continue to work closely with Microsoft and the CMA throughout the remaining review process, and we are committed to help Microsoft clear any final hurdles as quickly as possible. On that note, our integration management team is hard at work to ensure we are prepared for a smooth close. It's a major cross-functional collaborative effort, and I am thankful for all the work that's being done. This has been a longer journey than expected, and I am very proud of how focused everyone has remained on delivering great games. Thanks for your continued dedication and commitment to your players. More to come, Bobby. Now we know the deal has been pushed to the 18th, the same day it closes, and it's going to be a close one. Now, Tom Warren, Tom Marks is my colleague. Lots of confusion around the Microsoft Ubisoft deal. You won't need to subscribe to Ubisoft Plus to stream Activision Blizzard games. Microsoft will be able to license Activision Blizzard games for Xbox Cloud Gaming through Ubisoft. As I was sort of explaining, I just wanted to cite Tom Warren because he laid it out quite clearly how that works, right? Michael Pachter, who we've had on the show, we're going to try and get him back on after the deal closes. He wrote the following. Wanted to get my note out first, but the gist of the CMA deal is that Microsoft will sell rights for cloud streaming only to Ubisoft. Ubisoft can license them to anyone on an exclusive basis outside the EU, UK, etc., etc. Ubisoft can license them to anyone on an exclusive basis anywhere in the world. It is highly likely that Microsoft has already made an offer to Ubisoft to pay them a certain amount of money per year, and Ubisoft will pay Microsoft the present value of something less for the deal term. Of course, if someone else comes along and offers more than Microsoft is willing to pay, then Microsoft will lose Activision titles on Game Pass. It's unlikely anyone without a lot of subscribers will feel compelled to offer more than Microsoft offers. There's a lot of comments on this one. Let's just take a look really quick. They would probably lose games on Game Pass or just xCloud, potentially, but my guess is that Microsoft charged Ubisoft enough to make a competing bid impractical. In other words, they would have charged Ubisoft $500 million a year and committed to paying them $525 million. No one could afford to match that. Ubisoft has exclusive rights outside of the EEA. If Sony offers more, Microsoft is willing to pay. In the US, for example, Game Pass would not get Activision titles there. Unlikely, but possible. I think the definition is... Oh, and then Tom Warren says, this thread has so many inaccuracies, I don't know where to begin. So maybe I won't read that, because it seems like Pachter made some mistakes in his thread, and I'm playing catch up also. So let's ignore the Michael Pachter thing. We'll go right to another story that I wanted to cover off on pretty soon. So I got to interview Phil Spencer on the Kind of Funny, on the IGN Gamescom live stream. Not Kind of Funny. I don't know why I said Kind of Funny. Anyway, we'll call it jet lag, all right? Games Pass is a tough sell for a lot of execs. Bobby Kotick testified it's a tough sell to bring COD to Game Pass after closing. How are you going to bridge that difference? Phil Spencer, well, there's a different person making the decisions. I was glad Tom caught that, because I laughed when Phil said that during the interview. I'll leave the link to the Phil Spencer interviews, part 1 and part 2, in the comments, because it was a great interview. Phil was great. Phil's always willing to answer tough questions, and I really appreciate his candor during those. And any CEO that's willing to just sit down and at least be asked tough questions, I really respect that. People are like, why don't you do that for Jim Ryan? First of all, I've never been offered an interview opportunity with Jim Ryan. I don't think anybody at IGN has. But if we were, I don't know who would be conducting that interview. If it was me, of course I'm going to ask the tough questions. If it's not me, I'm going to be submitting the tough questions to be asked. Like, it's a collaborative effort. The Phil Spencer interview also wasn't just me. That was like a bunch of teammates at IGN collaborating to write the questions in a way that weren't too combative and didn't come off with the wrong tone, but still they're tough questions, and they're good questions, right? That you should be asking these CEOs and executives at these companies about where they're taking the industry, what's going on with it, etc. And I don't know why anybody would think that I wouldn't ask a tough question to somebody sitting next to me. Sometimes I could go off on a tangent about all of that, but long story short, hey, if I get Jim Ryan, of course I'm going to ask him tough questions. It's the internet is a weird place. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you like my content, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Hopefully this isn't a weird place for you. Hopefully you enjoy it. My hair's sort of falling down a little crazy. I'm going to try and stream Starfield. I haven't really gotten a chance to play it, and I want to. So I'm looking forward to that. If you're a member, thank you so much for supporting this channel. I have no idea where my memberships currently lie, but last I checked, these were all of the members. Thank you so much for supporting. If you would like to become a member and support this channel, click that join button right there. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.